Hey guys, Peter here to tell you about the latest from Silver Bullet, Shadowfall, out January 20th on Reaper Entertainment Europe. The album has 10 tracks, 45 minutes in length, and this is the band's third full-length studio album. They are a Finnish power metal band. From a design point of view, I think this is one of their best records. It feels compact, it feels cohesive, but still very dynamic and very fluid. From the opening track, an intro track that opens the doors to the experience of the record, all the way to the last song, you're going to find yourself in a roller coaster ride. Very fluid, very dynamic, ups and downs, ebbs and flows, alternating styles, alternating songs, so that you don't get two tracks that feel or sound similar back to back. All great elements that increase the playability of the record and allow you to get a lot more out of the experience of listening to it. Very engaging, very connected for the listener. An album that has quality across its individual parts, and then it has quality across the collective. As far as the sound is concerned, the beauty about this album is that it brings perhaps a little bit more power metal into the forefront, but allows that power metal to have old school elements about it, but also modern elements about it. But what I really liked about this record is that the modern elements, the keyboards, don't dominate the overall experience of this album sound-wise. This is a record that uses everything that modern power metal and modern melodic metal bands are using, but it's also an album that allows the old school elements to take more of a predominant role across each and every single song. This album depends a lot more on the drums, guitars, and vocals than it does on the keyboards. And this is not to say that the keyboards don't have an impact, they just don't define what the sound is going to be like. They don't define the experience. And this is where they won me over. When I listen to this record, I can hear the guitars, I can feel the power of the guitars, I can hear the drums, I can feel how much ground, how much movement they give to these songs, how much warmth they add, adding heaviness, adding thickness, expanding the footprint of the tracks. And then you see the vocals dominating the experience on every single song with an incredible range. This is melodic metal, this is power metal at its core. The keyboards come in as an added value, something that creates melody, something that helps define a little bit more of the atmosphere, something that fills in the blanks, allowing the overall experience to be a little bit more epic, for the volume to have a little bit more substance, but not necessarily using them to define what the record is all about, and specifically to define the sound on said record. A lot of bands are falling into that pattern. This record feels like it's taking a few steps back and changing in terms of who's leading it and who's controlling the overall feel movement that the album offers as far as sound is concerned. And that is definitely in those three core elements. And when you look deeper into those three core elements, you see what each and every single one is bringing them to the forefront. The drums on this album, like I said, they're very warm, but the most important element of the drums is defining how big these songs are. A lot of the size of the tracks, a lot of the epicness of some of these songs depend on the volume and sound that the drums are providing. They are in the backdrop. They are the foundation, if you will, of every single song on this album. And they are the catalyst to where everything else goes afterwards. So if you look at the guitars as the second element of the sound, the second element that drives the sound, you see that they are thick at times, increasing the heaviness, pairing up with the drums to create more volume, to create more substance, or being a lot more direct, more dynamic, more fluid, more engaging, more melodic, pairing up a little bit more with the side of the keyboards in order to create a different sound experience, a different style of volume. So the guitars connect those two worlds, but they are in the forefront, song in and song out. And that's how I want a band like Silver Bullet to sound, to have the guitars as the main driving force and everything else being there in order to complement that experience. As far as the vocals are concerned, they have a new vocalist, and I think they nail it perfectly. This guy has the perfect range for this band. And I think this album sounds as good as it does because of his range and what he offers vocally to these songs. He has an incredible dynamic. He knows where to go vocally on songs that have higher tempos, when to push higher, when to come lower. In songs that have more of a ballad feel or sound or experience, he's a little bit more controlled. It feels a little bit more connected with the atmosphere of the track and the essence of the track, not losing control, not trying to do too much. This dynamic, this movement that he offers vocally is extremely important to bring these songs to life, to give meaning to these tracks, and to make them memorable. And that's something that I felt on every single song. This album has incredible hooks, is a very hooky, is a very catchy album, and vocally he helps define those elements from start all the way to the finish line. This is their best record to date. The more complete, the more mature, the more dynamic, definitely the more engaging album. When you look at the sound, when you look at what drives the sound, when you look at the role that the keyboards play, and then having a vocalist with his range, with his ability, bringing all these pieces together, allow this to be a very complete record, one that really stands out from the previous albums that they released, but I think it's going to stand out in the crowd as far as 2023 is concerned. Is an incredible album with no flaws from start to finish. As far as favorite songs are concerned, I want to start off with Creatures of the Night. A classic feel to this song with some modern touches, bringing in some classic guitar sounds. The drums support really well those same guitar sounds, allowing the keyboards to take control of the sound at times, not constantly, but at times, alternating in terms of who's driving the experience or who's having a bigger impact in that same experience. The vocals help expand the song, giving it life. Using vocal layers also helps a lot in order to give volume to the track and in order to give volume where the song really needs it, so that the track doesn't necessarily feel heavy, but it just sounds like it has more in it. Great explosive chorus with a little bit more of a classic drive in the verses. I love this track. Next we have Nighthunter. This is definitely my favorite, if not second favorite song of the entire record. I just love how this track sounds. I love how this track feels. It has a little bit more bite. It feels a little bit heavier. The drums sound heavier at times. The guitars also add to that same heaviness. The keys are really well layered in. So if you listen to this track, and the same could be said for the entire record, if you listen to it in the car, sometimes you don't even notice the keyboards. If you listen to it on the headphones, then you can see the different layers that the track offers, that the album offers in general. It's a pedal to the metal track at times, but it's a song that offers different types of explosion when you move from the verses into the chorus. Super hooky, super catchy. The chorus is outstanding from that point of view, and that really allows the track to stand out from the songs that came before and from the songs that come after. Last but not least, Falling Down, a track that has a lot of similarities with Creatures of the Night. More of a ballad kind of feel, a little bit more stripped down, built up in the verses, having like two different momentums, a stripped down momentum, then one that builds upon that. It starts to create some volume, some thickness, and then a very explosive chorus. That is the dynamic of Falling Down, a song that has great exponential movement, moving from a more stripped down effect to a more epic proportion style approach in the chorus, but a magnificent track all around. This is it, Silver Bullet, Shadowfall, out January 20th on Reaper Entertainment. Let me know your thoughts on the band, on the singles. Use the comment section below. I'll be reading those and getting back to you. Take care, guys.